Hey planner friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be planning from the 17th to the 23rd of March using this super cute kit from Plannerface called Dopamine Decor. I think this was exclusive art for Plannerface's birthday last year, and it's just this adorable like bright pastel-y art. I really love this sort of like decoration, although it's not my sort of decoration. I really love the aesthetic. So I figured I would use it for a week where I was basically at home for most of the week. I have my planning notes in front of me and I have all of my stickers pulled out, so we can get cracking. As usual, I'm going to get started with my sidebar, so I think I'm going to use the green flag for this week. I don't have although this week has St. Patrick's Day in it, I didn't actually have a St. Patrick's Day kit because I was fully convinced that St. Patrick's Day was last week. So when I was like picking out my kits, it's like, okay, I don't need a kit for St. Patrick's Day because it's when I'm away. It'll get like overtaken by having a travel kit. And then it turned out it was the day I came back. I think it was because I had annual leave until the 17th, so I was sure that the 17th was last week. But no, I had Monday off this week to kind of recover from my holiday, unpack, although I didn't actually unpack, kind of start getting back into the swing of things, although I also didn't do that at all this week either. You know, the things that you kind of try to do when you come back from a holiday, but didn't exactly go to plan. And I'm going to add in my habit tracker. As you can hear, I'm slightly croaky. I don't actually feel ill, but I don't feel like I slept properly once this week, so not feeling my best. I think I'm going to use this Connect 4 box in the sidebar. Yeah, not feeling my best. And then we'll want a pink glitter header. Yeah, some days I just didn't sleep very well. We got back super late on Monday morning from like the airport. I kind of don't want to use the bunnies because I have them up there, but also I only need 3 boxes for during the week, so I think I will squish them down the bottom here and hope, yeah, I'm not gonna have to trim them. Yeah, we got back at like 1:30-ish on Monday. Oh, that actually works out really nicely. And then during the week, my neighbours were being really noisy because we have like some students next to us, and they decided to have a party on a weeknight, which, like, whatever, I was a student once as well, but I was more woken up by the neighbours on the other side, like hammering on their door telling them to shut up. So, and then the last couple of days I just haven't slept well, so we're running on fumes, and I'm hoping to have a nice lazy Sunday so that I can get some sort of like recovery in for next week before it all starts again. As with last week, I've forgotten to pre-date my date covers. So as usual, I'm using Dates version 2 from Plannerface, and then we can get some glitter headers down. Also, I feel like this week kind of didn't really get me back into like the swing of things because I was slightly off my like usual routine for the week. So I'm normally in the office Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but this week I had Monday off to kind of recover from my trip, and then I also was in the office Wednesday and Thursday and working from home on Friday because for the next this week and next week, and technically the week after, but I don't think I'll do it that week, we have like no one of my level in our team on site on a Thursday, which isn't ideal. So there's like 4 people of my level in my team and I'm the newest, so I'm like the least useful at the moment. But on a Thursday, one of us doesn't work Thursdays, one has just gone on maternity leave, and the other one is currently on holiday. So I had to switch, well, I didn't have to, but I offered to switch my work from home days around Thursday and Friday so that there was one person of my level on site each day. And the people who are like the level I was previously don't get too stressed out because it's not really their job to kind of be there on their own. I mean, they'd have my manager there, but still, I would have, well, I was not pleased when I was like on the odd day when I would be the most senior person in the team aside from our manager, because all of the 7s were off. Okay, so I think on Monday I'm going to use the Dominoes box. I've realised in my last couple of videos I've slowly been twisting my planner the whole way through the video, so I'm going to try not to do that today. I was using the Dominoes Decor on that day, but I'm going to do it anyway. So we've got that full box in there, and then I think I will actually, the first thing that I was going to mark in on Monday is that I tried to sleep in a bit, so I feel like I'll put the box at the top of the day. And then I'm going to use the double box scene on Saturday and Sunday. Okay, that is super cute. This is kind of giving me like some spring vibes as well, because they're like pastel-y colours, but they're still quite bright. And then I just chuck my weekend banner on. Cool, and then we can start getting cracking with the plans for the week. Okay, so starting on Monday. Monday was St. Patrick's Day, so I'm going to mark that in with a little thing. Yeah, so I was fully convinced that St. Patrick's Day was the Sunday, until I actually looked at a calendar and was like, oh, I'm wrong. I tried at least to sleep in a little bit this day. And a sleep in for me is like 8. So I think I woke up at like 8:30 and was like, oh my god, I've actually managed to sleep in. And then the first thing I did was I walked my mum to the train station so that she could do the last little bit of our little adventures journey and head home. And then I did my memory planning for the week. So that was quite a long spread. It was a little bit wonky. I might have like squished these up a bit too much. So as always, we're just gonna peel them all up and start again. Cool. Once I had done my planning, I then wanted to do my editing. So I'll use this green one. I did like most of my editing for this on the Monday, but then I woke up a little bit early on Tuesday and finished it off in the morning, but I don't think I'm gonna bother marking it on the Tuesday. I then had to go and get the groceries because it had been my turn to get them on the week, like when I was away. There. So this way around. I'm gonna end up moving all these around again. And then I just played some Baldur's Gate with Becca. I think I'm gonna use a yellow for that. I really like the bright sunny yellow in this kit. So yeah, we really didn't need to squish these up as much as I was thinking we would. Maybe I'll include something a bit bigger for editing, because like it did take me 2 days. Yeah, I'll whack that in for editing. Okay, so for St. Patrick's Day, I have a bit of deco from the kit and a St. Patrick's Day script from that like custom set of holidays that I got from Plannerface. For sleeping in, I have the pillow doodle from the kit. For walking to the station with mum, I have these trainer doodles from Plannerface. For my memory planning, I have the planner doodle from the kit. And then for editing, I was just going to include some deco. For the groceries, I have the grocery doodle from the kit, and then I have these dice from Papershire, which I thought the blue and the pink matched quite well with this kit. Okay, on to Tuesday. Tuesday I worked from home, so I'm going to use a patterned quarter box to mark in working from home. I then trained after work, and I need something from my stash for that. Okay, so for training, I'm just going to use this from my stash, which I think is from a monthly, so I'm going to have to trim it a smidge. Haven't had to do this for a while. But I did have the monthly kit of this, so I'm hoping that if I do need to pull anything out of my stash, or anything more at least, I will have the matching colours somewhere in there. This day after training and work, I had a pile of bits and pieces to do. Okay, I'm going to use this checklist to mark off all of the errandy type things that I did that evening, because there's like quite a few of them and they took up quite a lot of space, well, quite a lot of time in my day. And then this green to mark him playing some Baldur's Gate in the evening. Okay, so for work, I have this Vanilla at her laptop. These are the spring vanillas. And then for training, I have dumbbell version 2 from Planaface and a custom snatch script. And then for my errands, I had two doodles pulled out. I had, oh, they should be on that side. I had the laundry doodle from the kit, which will go there, and a suitcase doodle from Planaface, which will go there. And then I have this gaming vanilla for gaming in the evening. That took way longer than I thought it would, and I'm probably going to cut a lot of it out because it's just me being indecisive. There we go. Okay, Wednesday, much easier. I went to work, and I went to work in the office, so I'm going to start off with a panned third box to mark that in. Oh, it was Becca's birthday, so I'm just lying. Little thing for Becca's birthday. Quarter box for working on site. Event label for training. I feel like training on this day also really took it out of me. And I should perhaps have waited. I've then got a few things to mark in. One of them wants to be pink. One of them wants to be green. Perfect. That can be the green one. So I was going to mark in that I uploaded a video this day, but I kind of just want to put in that I had an early night because I was so tired. So on this day, I tried to have an early night because I knew that I was going to have to get up and go into the office on Thursday, and I don't normally do 2 office days in a row because I don't get along well with like office environments. I can't remember how much I explained in my previous plan with these, but I have sensory processing issues and offices are not the best for me, and now we're in an open plan office and it's worse, which is why I wasn't asked to do this, but I did offer to kind of save the sanity of some of my work friends. Okay, so we have the balloon doodle from the kit for Becca's birthday, a vanilla, spring vanilla, it looks kind of stressed, for work. I then have dumbbell doodle version 2 from Planaface and one of my custom scripts. I then in the evening just had a bit of a YouTube binge because I didn't have the energy to do anything else. And then I have this Lottie from Sit with the Plan Co bundled up in a blanket for my lazy evening. But then this evening was when my neighbours decided to have a party, so I didn't actually get that much sleep, which is, you know, ideal. It's exactly what I wanted from going to bed early. So on Thursday, I'm going to use a patterned third box to mark in working on site. And then going to use, I don't think I'm going to bother putting in the recycling because who cares? But it was actually like sunny and warm and nice weather, which was wild. So I've just written in my notes, is this spring? Question mark. And then going to put in that I was exhausted. So I got home from work and I just like laid down for like an hour. I finished work like an hour early because that was my kind of stipulation of coming into work 2 days in a row, was that I could use like an hour of annual leave that I had left to kind of shorten the day. So I just came home with that extra hour I had for my evening. I just laid down and did nothing, which is not what I like to do with my time, but it was necessary. I'm going to use a blue to mark in playing Baldur's Gate with Becca, and hopefully in that little space down there. So I've run out of the like thinner little things, so I'm just going to start cutting up the checklists. I'm going to mark in, I'll fiddle with the sizing, spacing even. I'm going to mark in that this evening me and Becca finished our latest Baldur's Gate run. We kind of rushed the end because we had new ideas for characters, but I do want to go back and watch the like epilogue bit for what we did in our Dirge run, because we made some choices that I haven't made before, and I wanted to see how they played out for all of the characters. Now that because like last time I actually completed a Dirge run was before they updated it to have the epilogue like 6 months later party. So you can see the consequences of your actions. So I've got an overwhelmed vanilla for work, and then I have the bunnies from the kit to mark in spring, a Lottie with 0 battery left that I'm just gonna trim to mark in. I think I need to change my craft knife blade, but every time I do that I end up cutting through pages. Yes, we had like a Baldur's Gate binge, so I'm using the binge watch vanilla, but it means that we just played Baldur's Gate for a while. And then, yeah, so I think by this point I just got overtired, or I'd at least had a little bit of rest from lying down, that we actually played Baldur's Gate until after I would usually go to bed on a school night. I am 33 and I do not work in a school. And then I just got a little bit of deco from the kit to mark in that we finished that run. On Friday I was working from home, so I'm going to use a pattern quarter box to mark that in. It was also payday, so I'm just going to use a little thing for payday, although I have a small stick of a payday. Nice. After work I did training, so I really didn't want to do 3 training days in a row, and I think if I had tried to do that it would have actually killed me. So there's that one. And then I bought my ticket for Anna and Beth's planner event next year, Great Planner Getaway. So I've got a little thing to mark that in. I had quite a lot to mark in this evening again. Oh, I'm running out of green. Next, me and Becca did a big update of our mods to start a new campaign. It is handy whenever we start a new campaign that we like overhaul the mods that we were using, like do a mass update, because she uses external mods and I use the like in-game mod manager, so it doesn't always agree that we have the same things, even though we put a lot of time and effort into having the same things. So we literally spent like an hour and a half on a Discord call making sure that we had all the same mods, and then that she could load in to a game I started, which, spoiler alert, I'd actually set up incorrectly. So we started playing that game on Saturday, and I will be repeating everything that we did yesterday, today, hopefully. Cool, so I've got a vanilla from Papershire, and then I have a little piggy bank and a payday script from Planface to mark in payday. I then have Yellow Dumbbells version 2 and a custom script for my jerk session. And then there's this happy face in the kit, so I'm using that to mark in getting my ticket. And then I have a computer from Papershire to mark in doing mods. And then in the evening, me and my partner watched a comedy special on Netflix. Okay, moving on to the weekend. I've tried to have quiet time this weekend to relax, recover, feel better. So the first thing that I'm marking in on Saturday is that me and Becca we both woke up early because I got woken up by my neighbours again. So we played some Baldur's Gate. I then got to swap all of my training stuff into my new training bag. So the bag that I was talking about last week, or the week before, about having ordered it to be hand luggage, is also now going to be my training bag, so I could swap into that. I'm then going to use the blue to mark in team training. I then wanted to mark in that I was still exhausted. It was a really good team training session though. We were having a lot of fun. And then going to use yellow. I do not have enough stuff to mark today. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me have a look through my stuff. Oh my god, to mark in I was still exhausted, I might use a strip of the washi. I feel like possibly every time I've had like an extra day off with like lots of stuff to mark, I've had maybe a bigger kit, and then this is me like really struggling and having run out of everything at the end of a mini kit. I need that one for the end of Sunday, I think. I can put that in for Baldur's Gate. Oh yeah, because once we realised I set the game up wrong, we started resetting the game up. Oh, that could match. Yeah, okay, I found a swatch in my stash, which is kind of the same colour. So that can be for setting up the game wrong. Okay, on to Sunday. I've started off this week. You can tell I'm really tired, can't you? With my normal Sunday reset. I've then done my usual 2 hours of overtime. And if you're thinking, oh Natalie, if you're so tired this week, why have you done overtime? You have to sign up to like specific times now, and you have to do it. So I screwed myself over, basically. I'm then going to use a half box to mark in memory planning and editing, because I'm going to finish this and then immediately edit it. The plan is to have a lazy evening. Yeah, the plan is to have a lazy evening and for me to get us back to where we were, because Becca's not here today, for me to get us back to where we were with our Baldur's Gate run. Do another square and cut it down. So same as with my old planner, when I cut things down, I kind of cut the whole way through them and then use it as like a guide of how much to cut off the rest of the sticker. There we go. Okay, so the weekend was a little bit touch and go there, but we made it. So for doing some Baldur's Gate early in the morning, I have this alarm clock deco from the kit. For sorting my training bag out, I have a doodle from Plannerface. For team training, I have my usual vanilla weightlifting and my custom team training script from Plannerface. For marking that I was exhausted, I have this Lottie from Stick with the Plan Co again. For gaming with Becca, I have vanilla. And then for realising I'd set up the whole game wrong, I have this Rage Quit Lottie from Stick with the Plan Co, which is honestly how I felt. And I also felt really bad because me and Becca had put like a decent amount of time on our Saturday into that game, and then we realised that I'd messed it up. For my Sunday reset, I have the cleaning doodle from the kit. I then have this vanilla clocking in and an overtime custom from Plannerface. And then for memory planning and editing, I have the book doodle from the kit and then some deco, which is also books. Yeah, put it like that. I was going to use an edit script, but I don't want to write like memory planning in my handwriting and then editing not in my handwriting. so we'll just leave it as that. I have a controller, keyboard and mouse doodle from Papershire for gaming, some deco from the kit for having a lazy evening, and then the bathtub doodle from the kit to mark in having a little bit of me time for my lazy evening. So that is all of my stickers down for the week. I'm so sorry this was super chaotic, and hopefully editing me can make it easy to follow if it makes no sense. I'm going to go fill this all out and I'll be right back. So here's the spread all filled out, and despite all of the struggle I had with getting all of these stickers down, I'm super happy with how this has turned out. I love the colours of this kit, I love the art in it, and yeah, I'm really happy that this week looks so cute in my planner, even though I still feel so tired. While I was filling it out, I wondered how long it had been since we actually started this current run of Baldur's Gate 3, and it turns out that we'd finished our previous run on the 20th of January, so it's taken us about 2 months to get through a whole campaign, which is, well, we play it pretty much every day when we're both available, so it's not actually that surprising. Also, as I keep forgetting to mention, I do PR for Plannerface, so you can use my code in the description to save yourselves a little bit of money, and also mention me to get a seasonal freebie. But yeah, if you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comment section down below. Drop the video a like if you enjoyed it, and if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye!